Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I'm going to show you how you can use MPowersynth to layer drums. I know this is a synthesizer, but actually there's some new features that allow you to import drum samples and actually mix them together, and it actually makes a very convenient and efficient way to create new drum samples. So let's get started. So you see here I have MPowersynth. I should have it on default. And what we're going to do here is not even use the synthesizer section. So I'm going to turn off the oscillator, and now go into the effects section. And so the first thing I want to do is just set up a template. So that way, the next time I want to do this, I can easily start setting up these drum sounds and I don't have to go through all the setup. And really, you should be doing this with like all different sounds. And I'll show you how to do that in future videos, but let's set this one up first. So I'm going to start on track 2 here, or lane 2, I guess. Right click. And now you see here where it says synthesis, I'm going to go to M drum sampler. Right click it again. And now you see it says copy. Just click copy. Okay. Right click here, paste. Right click here, paste. And right click here, paste a 4th time. So I can do more if I want. I could do a 6th one, and there's actually ways if you want to do more than 6, you can. But for now, let's just do 4 because I don't really need to mix more than 4 samples usually. The next thing I'm going to do is click here, right click I should say, and I'm going to go to mixer. Now I'm going to right click on the mixer, and I'm going to click input 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you see I have it routed into the mixer, and I'm also going to use steal input 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That way nothing is going out through these outputs here from 2 to 5. Okay, so now that everything's routed there, I'm almost done. The next thing I want to do is I want to put an EQ between all of these. So I'll right click again, hit equalizer. I'll copy it, paste it, and paste it. So this is what I'm going to use for the basic setup, the basic template. You can do more or less, but I think this is enough. So I'm going to go in here under presets. I'll just make something that says templates here. So add that category. So now I'm going to add drum layering. Okay, easy enough. So that way next time I can just open this preset up and start from here. It'll save me lots of time. But now you're probably thinking, okay, let's get into the drum layering. So let's layer a bass drum. So I'm going to use 3 layers. I'm going to use a very low, like sub bass style bass sound. Then I'm going to use something for the mid range, and then another bass sample for my high end. So here we go. Let's start. If I go into M sampler here, go into synth. Let's do like an analog style synth. So I'm going to go in here and let's find one that sounds good. A little bit too much top end. That's better. No. That's closer to what I'm looking for. So let's use this. And another thing I should mention is if you go to global here and pull this down, you can adjust the volume for all of them at once, which you probably want to do because I'm going to mix these together so it's going to get loud. So I have this one first, but it seems to have some kind of like reverb. The decay is really long. So what I can do here, I see the sample. I'm going to go down here, double click, add another node, and tighten it up a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I can mute this if I want, just so I can hear this a little bit more easily. Go into the second one, and let's find another one. Okay, let's try this. So analog kick 3. I'll use this for the second one. Now, let me unmute it, see if they sound all right together. There's probably some frequency cancellation there, but it's okay for now. Now let's go to the last one here. I'll mute these two and input 4. Let's find something with a little bit of, top end on it. I like that, analog kick 2. So let's hear them all together. So it's okay, but the problem here is I feel like the frequencies are kind of clashing with each other. So one thing I can do is just EQ the different frequencies out. So for this one, it's just like my bass drum sound, the really low bass. And I'm going to get rid of all the high end. So let's go into here, enable this, use a low pass filter, and just cut this off so we get rid of that top end. That sounds pretty good. Now, the next one here, I have these two together. And what I probably want to do is, for this sample, I might want to get rid of the low end so they don't clash. So, right click here, turn this on, use a high cut filter, and start moving this. That sounds all right. So let's hear it just by itself. Together. And I'll bypass this so you can hear what it sounded before and after. So this is before, after. Let me turn this up a little bit because I think I lost lots of the meat. Let me turn that down a little bit. And now the last part here, this high end. So I'm going to do the same thing, just cut off some of the low end. That's okay, but there's still some problems, and one thing is probably the tuning. So you see here where it says triggering, I can go into this and shift the pitch. So let's see if I can make this sound a little bit better. That's all right. See the other one, that'll help. That one's okay. And the lowest one. That's sounding a little bit better to me. And from here you can do more if I want to change the delay on one of them, like set this back in time like this. And that sounds kind of like a flam, a little bit tighter. Still a flam. I kind of like it as it is. But as I said, you can do that and adjust it however you want. Now from here, something else I might want to do is add a global equalizer like this. And listen and try to get out some of that boxiness in the middle. Enhance that snap a little bit. Before, after. It's a little bit. I could probably get rid of a little bit more here. And one last thing, I might want to compress it to tighten it a little bit. So I'll use dynamics here. Set this about 15 milliseconds to let that transient through. And another thing, if you click this here, the window will pop out so it's a little bit easier to see. Set the ratio to around like 4:1 or so. Turn the knee off, turn the RMS off. Let's try this. Bypass it. And there you go. So there's more things I could do from here. If you see here, I have all sorts of different dynamics processors, distortions. I can do things with the spectrum, etc. But for me, this is probably enough. And from here, if you want to use this in your production, you can just use it like this. Or what I would probably do is save it as a file and load it into a drum sampler, like MDrummer, for example. So all I have to do for that is just click here, play it, and it plays what I want. And from here, I'd probably, just freeze it like this. Freeze to mono, for example. And now I have this sample here. And I can just export that and use that wherever I want. Now, I know one thing you're probably thinking is, what if I don't want to use the included samples if I want to use something else? So to do that, all you have to do is go into this area here we had before with MSampler, and you can just drag your sample into here and it will show up. Or where it says factory here, you can click custom and you can find your own directory and save that in there. So that way, next time, all your samples that are in a folder, you can easily access. So it's really simple, it's really useful. And then next time, like now, I can just go into here and everything's set up for me. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, subscribe, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Till next time, see you.